WWI, Russian for good day. Mr. H here hanging out with you, ready to plunge deeper into the progressive era. Well, our friend Teddy Roosevelt's second term is up. He hands off to his vice president, Howard Taft. As you can see, Howard Taft is a robust fellow. Likes to hang out at Williamson's, I would imagine. Yeah, probably hasn't left in a few years. Howard Taft, also a Republican, also a progressive, he doesn't seem to be as active, as you can tell, as Teddy Roosevelt, and that tended to make Roosevelt a little bit upset because, Roosevelt didn't want the monopolies creeping their way back in again, and didn't think Howard Taft was, striking them down enough. But yeah, Howard Taft's getting it done. He's just not as demonstrative. He's much quieter and otherwise guys it just kind of gets it done. Howard Taft, of course, isn't quite that famous because, like I said, he's not a loud, showy kind of guy. But yeah, he is famous for one thing. Yeah, getting stuck in a bathtub. Yeah, that actually happened. As you can see, he's a rather large fellow and he got stuck in the bathtub and they had to pull him out of there, more than one person. And if you got stuck with that job, it's time to pull out the Labor Reform Act and get some extra pay for that, dude. That's definitely over and beyond the call of duty. Now, here's another picture. Always reminded me of Howard Taft, Jabba the Hutt. Maybe I'm just being mean. But Howard Taft, good guy, but he never really wanted to be vice president, never really wanted to be president, somehow won the election. His wife kind of talked him into the job, happens a lot. He really wanted to be a judge. And once he left the White House, he became the Ohio Supreme Court justice, and later in 1920 returns to D.C. and Supreme Court justice. Yeah, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So it's going to work out for him, in the long run. But yeah, uh, Roosevelt wasn't happy what Taft did, and he comes back in 1912 to run against his friend Howard Taft. After the election, they got back together as friends again, but they did run against each other. And of course, now it's a three-way race because if Taft is the Republican, a Democrat, that's going to be Woodrow Wilson. Teddy Roosevelt is going to be a member of the new Progressive Party. And he is committed to winning. Is that a campaign? Got shot in the chest and finished his speech, a 2-hour speech after getting shot in the chest. This guy is hardcore. Again, where is the security, federal government for presidential candidates? Just wondering. Like I said, the record tends to speak for itself. They basically had to get 3 or 4 people to drag him off the stage to go to the hospital. Anyway, he survives. He does fine. It's Teddy Roosevelt. You're going to have to shoot him quite a few times to knock him down. But like I said, he is committed, he is hardcore, and he ends up costing the Republicans the election. Republican elephant, that's going to be Howard Taft. Here we are. The Bull Moose Party, Progressive Party there with Teddy Roosevelt. And here comes Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat. He's going to win. This guy figured it out. See, Republican divided by progressives because Roosevelt's Republicans, so he's pulling votes away from them. So Democrats end up winning an election for the first time since 1892. Been 20 years. And we got Woodrow Wilson. Now, Woodrow Wilson is also a progressive. He is committed to reforming things. He actually likes the square deal. We've got recordings of his speeches, and he's not an easy guy to like, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things people don't like about him, but aside from various character flaws, he also has a kind of high-pitched, whiny sort of voice and a nasty habit of sticking his finger in people's faces when he's talking. Shouldn't really do that with people who are bigger than you are. Not a smart move. I guess they finally figured out the security thing here for presidents. This guy's going to need it. Like I said, he's committed to progressivism, and he's still a trust buster, and he actually gets behind women's suffrage because it's going to happen, so he might as well get behind it. But he's got some other stuff happening, and like I said, there's always a foreign policy component of a presidency, and the thing that's pulling his attention away from the domestic side of his presidency is Europe. What's happening over here in Europe, and why is it important to us? Well, who's our #1 trading partner? Great Britain. So if something happens pulling in Great Britain, it's going to affect our economy. And here's what's going to happen. You've heard about European imperialism, American imperialism, Asian imperialism. Everybody's doing this stuff. And the Europeans, they carved up Africa, right? Couldn't get to Latin America because Britain's Navy won't let them, and we won't let them. And India already belongs to the British, and you saw what they did in China with the spheres of influence. They're kind of running out of targets, so they've really got nothing else left but to end up fighting each other. And look, all these guys are crammed in next to each other. So it's just a matter of time before the First World War breaks loose. I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen earlier, before 1914. But this is what's going to happen. We'll talk more detail later, but I'll give you the high points right now. Austria has a lot of Serbs living over here and Slavs, and Serbia wants to liberate all the Slavs under Serbian banner. Well, Archduke Ferdinand, the heir to the Austrian throne, visits Serbia in Sarajevo and gets shot. Serbia had nothing to do with it. It's a guy operating on his own, but Austria is very upset with Serbia, and they end up going to war with each other. If you are Serbia, it's kind of hard to fight this thing by yourself, so you're calling for help. They're calling for help from Russia. Now, if you're Austria, yeah, we can handle Serbia, but then when Russia shows up, this changes the game, doesn't it? Call for help. Who can we fight against the Russians? We got Germany. Russia can take Austria, but now you throw Germany in here, this becomes a problem. Well, they're going to call their ally France, so now Germany might be able to handle both at the same time, but they're spread out on two fronts, which is the whole idea to begin with. And then if anything's happening here, the British get involved, they're going to back the French, trying to keep the Germans bottled up because of the German high seas fleet. This is our #1 trading partner. Germany's Navy can't really take on the British quite yet, but they have a way of trying to blockade the British. The British will blockade Germany, Germany's going to hit back. U-boat, undersea boat. So they're going to shoot and sink any ship coming into Great Britain. Who's the #1 trading partner? The United States. That means they're going to be shooting at U.S. ships. See how this becomes a problem for America? Talk more about that a little bit later on. Countdown to the First World War is underway. See you next time.